Hello everybody, Dr. Lonnie here. I want to make a quick video on swelling and bruising and ways we can kind of reduce either one of those after your procedure. So if you had grafts placed into your hairline or mid-scalp, you're probably going to notice swelling come down into your face. If you had grafts only placed into the crown, the swelling and bruising can be limited to that area. You may never notice it, so you may never need to do anything. You probably don't need to watch the rest of this video. For everyone else, here's how we can reduce swelling. First, let's kind of cover how swelling works. It's pretty standard. After any procedure, swelling is going to increase from the time you have your procedure up to days 4 and 5. Swelling is going to peak on day 4 to 5, and it's going to start coming down. Around days 8 to 10, your swelling is usually resolved. But there are some things we need to do to maybe kind of control that peak or to make it go away by day 8 instead of day 10. The number one method is icing. We did this the night after your procedure. You can continue that the day after. After day 1, icing is pretty much not going to help, so you can stop it on day 2. But basically for icing, you're just going to place it over your eyes and lower forehead. You're not going to put it on top of your grafts. You're going to do this 15 minutes every couple hours. And in your goodie bag, if you decide not to get your own supplies, you'll have 2 of these packets which you can rotate through the freezer to use. So icing is number 1. Number 2 is our steroids. We may or may not have prescribed you steroids. If you didn't get any, don't worry about it. Steroids help reduce swelling about by 50%, but they only work in about 50% of people. So if you had grafts placed in the hairline or a sufficient number of grafts placed in the hairline, we may have prescribed this to you. If you told us you had a history of swelling, we may have prescribed it. Or if you have like an important event within the first 8 to 10 days that we knew about, we probably prescribed the steroids, but if you don't have it, no big deal. All steroids have their own kind of regimen, how you take them. This one would take over 6 days, the dose tapers down. Just pay attention to the instructions on the box. They're pretty self-explanatory, but they can help reduce swelling in some people, so why not? Last thing we can do for swelling is actually changing our position throughout the day and how we sleep. Swelling migrates down with gravity. You'll notice that you may not notice the swelling on days 1 and 2. That's because the swelling is actually moving down in your forehead. It's actually hard to notice swelling in your forehead because the skin is so thick. But once it goes down towards your eyes, the skin is thinner, and you may notice all of a sudden on day 3 to 5, your face is poofed up. A lot of people actually notice on these sides of their face where they actually have these nice little fat pads still poof up on the sides around day 3. That's all gravitational. So if we change the way we sleep, instead of sleeping too upright and trying to get down more into a reclined position, the swelling can actually move towards the back versus back and not towards our face. Now when we recline, we have to be careful that we're not placing any pressure onto areas where we put hairs into. So if you have any grafts in the crown, be very cautious about going too far back. If your hairs are only in the front and the mid-scalp, like you're totally fine to lay back pretty flat. The trowel pillow will kind of protect everything in that scenario. So repositioning is another great method to reduce swelling. If swelling is a significant problem for you and you're like, oh, I am too swollen, I need to do something else, you can actually watch our video on lymphatic massage. In lymphatic massage, what we're doing is we're actually massaging away the swelling into the lymphatic vessels that are in a couple parts of your face. That video is very nice for people who are really concerned about the swelling. Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend it. So moving on to bruising. So not much we can do about bruising. Bruising is actually very uncommon after a hair transplant procedure. I haven't seen too many people actually get a bruise. But really the same time course. Bruising gets darker from the day right after your surgery up to day 4 or 5. And after day 4 or 5, that blood starts breaking down, and it's really gone by days 8 to 10. If you have a bruise, I'm sorry, but really just let it play its course. There are medications like arnica and bromocriptine that you can take. We don't put those in the goodie bags just because bruising is so uncommon. They do help to hasten up bruising, maybe like by a day or 2 and line up the color. But not really recommended. Just let it play its course. And sorry if you have a bruise, but again, it's really uncommon. If you're concerned about the bruise at all, please let us know, especially if it's pretty significant. I definitely want to know. So that's swelling and bruising. Hopefully that helps outline like things that you could do to mitigate it, but hopefully it's not too much of a hindrance for you. And thank you very much for watching. Please reach out for any questions.